with a great photo reference to pull from. Let's get started. Dog fur, or hair in general, might be my favorite thing to paint. It leaves so much room for interpretation. You can get really subtle in some areas, or if you want to add a lot of details, you can start using the pastel pencils to layer on top of the softer pastels. But you're going to want to make sure you got a good textured paper, or else you're only going to be able to go 3 or 4 layers deep. Right now, the only thing I'm worried about is the form of her body, so I don't go too deep with the layers. This is a good place to stop and move on. I decided to change the layout of the sidewalk compared to what's on the reference photo. Here her lower 2/3 will be sitting on the sidewalk itself, while the grass will make the frame around her head. This will give her face more contrast and helps make it the subject of the painting. The ruler is to keep my hand steady and to make sure I don't smudge the painting, in case you're wondering. So I sort of painted myself into a corner here. The sidewalk and her fur are almost the same tone. So to compensate, I'm putting a lot of cooler blues into the sidewalk, and I'm going to lay down a deep shadow to help contrast the two. So like every other artist, everything I know, I learned from somebody else. So I would like to take this opportunity to give a shout out to one of my favorite YouTube artists, Emma Colbert. What she can do with fur and pastels is second to none. She's a huge inspiration with my channel, and one day I hope to be as good as her. In the meantime, make sure to check out the link in the description and show her some love. Let's give Nala her personality back. I decided to saturate her tongue in a deep rich red because it's going to be competing against her darker lips, and I don't want it to get lost. Soft pastels are a mixture of pure pigment and binding agent. The higher quality pastels, the less adhesive. And if you want to produce a high quality portrait, you're going to have to invest in the high quality pastels. No exception. Sennelier and Unison are 2 of the softest pastels on the market. They use very little adhesive in their formulas. As a result, their pastels tend to have a soft, very velvety, almost creamy feel to them, and there's definitely a large learning curve. My favorite brand is Rembrandt. They're not too pricey, and you get your money's worth. They're soft enough to cover large areas of the portrait, but firm enough to keep on layering on top of that initial layer, as long as that paper has a good tooth to it. The finishing touches. This piece took about 7 hours to complete in 4 different sittings.